Hi, good morning. My name is Miss Rechelle Rivera of ICC Psychologist, and for today, we are going to discuss Chapter 2, Communication and Globalization. In the context of globalization and free trade, business communication has to cut across different cultural identities. In this age of globalization, workplaces are increasingly integrated. This makes communication and cross-cultural understanding more crucial for everyone, including executive business leaders, workplace managers, and employees. With this, it is very important to identify and discuss the different factors affecting the field of communication. We have cultural identity, racial identity, ethnic identity, gender roles, individual identity, social class, and age identity. Let us first discuss the cultural identity. When we say cultural identity, it can be as values, attitudes, and ways of doing things that a person brings with him from the particular place where he was brought up as a child. Values and attitude have an impact on communication across culture because each person's norms can be different from other people. Cultural identity also it talks about the message during interaction, which will contain multiple cultural identities such as nationalist, racist, ethnic, class-related, sex, gender-based, political, and even religious matters. It is also the feeling that you belong to a group of people like you, and this is often happen because of your shared qualities like birthplace, traditions, practices, and beliefs. Next one is we have the racial identity. When we say racial identity, it refers to how one's membership to a particular race affects how one interacts with coworkers of different races. It is one of the most common ways of people display racism is through their communication, primarily through their jokes, figures of speech, and vocabulary choices. And minimizing the negative impact of racism in communication is simple in theory, yet it can be difficult to actually accomplish. Minimizing racist communication can only be accomplished by paying careful attention to the words we use when we speak, text, or email. And it is also important that individuals speak up when they hear or see racism in communication to help minimize this type of things. Next one is we have the ethnic identity. When we say ethnic identity, it highlights the role ethnicity which plays in how two co-workers from different cultures interacts with one another. It is also refers to a person's social identity within a larger context based on membership in a cultural or social group. For example, here in the Philippines, we have different ethnic groups like Badjao, Tausug, Maranao, Tiboli, Kapampangan, Bicolano. When the Tagalog and Ilocano workers merge in the same setting, probably they will have a hard time to understand one another because of the dialect that they have, especially when most of them are comfortable to express their feelings and ideas in Tagalog. The other person might feel that he or she is not belong to the group because he is an Ilocano. With this, communication is not just affected, but it's also being blocked in a way that the other person will have a hard time to connect with his co-workers. But of course, we should always remember that if there's a will, there's a way. If you really want to understand one another, you have to get to know the persons first so that you will be comfortable with each other. If you reach that level, communication would be easy for you. Thus, you will become more productive employee and individual. Aside from cultural identity, racial identity, and ethnic identity, we do also have the gender roles. When we say gender roles, this means that communication between members of different culture is affected by how different societies view the roles of men and women. It means how we are expected to act, speak, dress, groom, and conduct ourselves based upon our assigned sex. For examples, girls are expected to dress in a typically feminine ways and be polite. On the other hand, men are expected to be strong, aggressive, and bold. And this is aligned to what we call stereotypes about gender, which can cause unequal and unfair treatment because of a person's gender. This is what we call sexism. For example, A woman is looking for a job, particularly applying as a welder. Then the interviewer asks for her strengths and weaknesses, even the contributions that she can provide or offer to the company. But then the recruiter declined her application because of the positions that he's applying for is not suitable for her as a woman. This show gender roles because the recruiter viewed women as just for lighter works or for offices only. Next one, we have individual identity. When we say individual identity, it impacts cross-cultural communication. This is how a person communicates with other culture depending on his own unique personality traits and how he esteems himself. Individual identity is you or who you are as an individual. It is a composite of your personality, traits, beliefs, values, physical attributes, abilities, aspirations, and other identifiers that make you who you are. For example, you are an introvert. You don't want to be associated with other people. Tendency is that they will have a hard time to know you better because you are a shy or a reticent person. Next one is we have the social class. Okay, social class, it affects the communication. To many, social status is an indicator of credibility and legitimacy, and this is it affects how communication or how one communicates with one another. Status differences can create a bias against those with perceived lower status. For example, a junior or lower level employee asked to make presentation to a group of more senior upper level managers may have difficulty keeping their attention at first because it because if even if his information and presentations are solid. Okay. Next one is we have the age identity. Okay, when we say age identity, this refers to how members of different age group interacts with one another. This might be thought of the terms of the generation gap. Okay, and it is also something to do with the strengths and weaknesses of an individual as well. So there are specific topics wherein young generations or youngs are not allowed to be involved with the adults' conversation. Aside from that, when we say age identity, it has something to do with interpreting the opinions of lower age. Sometimes their opinions don't matter to the upper age or adults. With this, there is a gap in expressing their feelings because of they felt that they were neglected. Okay, so this is what we call the age identity. Now, let us proceed to the effects of wireless technology in communication through society, well, world healthcare, aids of catastrophic events, and news reporting. So let us first proceed to the society. So society and organizations depend on communication to transfer information. Electronic like radios, televisions, internet, and social media have improved the way we exchange ideas, which can develop our societies. Technologies have improved education and learning process. Next one is we have the world. Okay? Communication is now possible with the help of wireless technology. Wireless technology is the fastest and best form of technology that we could ever ask for. Next one is we have the healthcare. Okay? The medical assistance related to information and treatment is easier to distribute in remote rural areas where earlier there was no communication possible at all. So through the help of wireless technology or technology, we can easily address the needs of those people who are in the rural areas. Next one is we have the aids of catastrophic events. If there is an earthquake somewhere in Japan or in the farthest part of the Philippines, we can get to know or we get to know it within almost a few minutes through the use of technology or wireless technology. This has happened only because of the wireless communication, which enable us even to view the catastrophic event. Last one is we have the news reporting. No matter where in the world an event is happening, reporters can report it and send it to their offices with the help of wireless technology. So that's it for today. Again, we have chapter 2, communication and globalization. I hope that you learned something. Thank you so much. Bye.
For more ICCT College's video updates, please subscribe and click the notification button.